This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
Houston Police Department.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
The motor vehicle accident.
Chesterfield Emergency Service. They're in good hands here.
In an emergency, you may have to try to save the life of someone you love. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of men, women, and children with the courage and willingness to get involved on Rescue 911.
On Saturday afternoon, July 28, 1990, Gary and Julie Mayo returned to their home in Keller, Texas, after visiting a local nursery.
It was a nice day, sunny day. So we went off and bought some plants. We intended spending the afternoon planting these plants.
While Gary and Julie worked in the garden with their nephew, their three daughters, Nikki, Erin, and Kelly, played nearby.
No, I don't think so. You. None of you have a relative or
When we originally bought the house, there was no gate, actually, from the back door of the house to the pool. That was the first thing I did, was actually build a fence with a gate on it. Normally, I kept the gate locked, and the only time it was ever open was when I was next to the pool. Unfortunately, I was next to the pool.
I remember Nikki going in. I don't really remember Erin going in, but I wasn't paying much attention. I went up to get the sprinkler, and I stood there for about 20 seconds, maybe trying to unscrew the hose from the sprinkler, and I couldn't do it. And then I just happened to turn to the pool, and that's when I saw her.
I've never been panicked in my life. She was completely limp. She was completely blue. I thought she was dead. First thing was to get the water out of her lungs.
So I ran in to call 911.
Communications Supervisor Brent Robbins took the call.
Keller 911 emergency.
Yes, we need an ambulance. My daughter's been in the pool. I think she's drowned.
What happened to her?
This baby went in the pool.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 2.5, Chris.
Okay, she got her out of the pool now?
Yeah, she looked unconscious, my husband.
Okay, can you tell if she's breathing?
I think she was when I got her.
This one was especially rough for me. My wife was 6 months pregnant at the time of that call. So, I put myself in Julie's place.
Okay, all right, ma'am, you gotta calm down.
Officer John Lee was in the station when the call came in, and he ran out the door and was on the way.
Medic 1, Engine 2, 311, respond to medical emergency.
Rescue units with the Keller Fire Department were also sent to the scene.
Oh, God.
Okay, just calm down. Get her right next to the phone with me, okay? Your husband to tilt her head back and cover up the baby's mouth and nose with his mouth.
Cover the mouth and the nose with your mouth.
Tell him to get 2 little soft puffs of air, blow it into the baby.
Mouth and the nose and around your mouth. 2 soft puffs of air.
And watch for your baby's chest
up.
And don't tilt his head back too far. Do that 2 times.
She's coming back. Oh, is
Okay.
she breathing, Gary?
Child breathing now?
No, I don't think so. Please!
Okay, just keep telling him to do that. Tilt the head back, cover the mouth and the nose, and give her 2 soft puffs of air.
I don't think she's... Oh, God, I don't think she's breathing.
They're going to be there in just a second, ma'am. Just calm down.
God, where are you? Please. Please.
Keller police officer John Lee was the first to arrive.
Just bring him to the baby, okay?
They're here.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Take care of yourself.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I felt a little bit of hope. I felt that, thank God I've got somebody who knows what they're doing.
Moments later, paramedic David Jones and EMT Charlie Mitchell got to the scene.
When we got there, she did have a pulse, but she wasn't controlling her respirations. She wasn't getting any oxygen in. She was really cyanotic. Her color was pale blue.
O2's going. Y'all can get an IV started on her. They give her ETA.
Can I get an alcohol prep?
You got Kelly? Can you hear me, Kelly?
My greatest concern was the possibility of brain damage, because with the drowning, you don't know exactly how long they've been without oxygen. Her level of consciousness was still real low, so I called for care flight.
Okay.
14 minutes after Kelly was pulled from the water, the medical chopper arrived to transport her to the hospital.
Well, I didn't realize she was going in a helicopter. At first, they just put her on the stretcher, and I just went out there, and I was running behind them, and then they said, "You can't go on." I said, "There's not room for you."
Kelly's parents could only watch as the chopper took their youngest daughter away. When we continue,
I try and reassure them that everything is being done, that she's very sick, and it is possible that she's not going to survive.
When 2.5-year-old Kelly Mayo was found floating face down in her family's swimming pool, her parents managed to get her breathing again using CPR instructions received over the phone. But as Kelly was airlifted to a nearby hospital, no one knew how severe her brain damage might be.
The flight to Cook's Fort Worth Children's Medical Center took less than 10 minutes.
We've got a 2-year-old near drowning.
What have we got here? We've got a near drowning.
Pediatric neurologist Warren Marks assessed Kelly's condition.
She was posturing, that is, all of her extremities, her arms and her legs were sticking straight out. She had abnormal muscle tone, which is a sign that either your brain is swelling or that you have injury to the brainstem. Why don't we get Johnny down? She's going to need a bed.
Hey, guess what
okay,
we got?
there you go, Johnny.
Pediatric intensivist Dr. Johnny Griggs was also called in.
Okay, Gary, let's get a tube that'll hold some traction for you here.
The main objective when she came in was to protect her brain from further injury. We would continue to do all the breathing for Kelly, keeping her paralyzed with medications, keeping her very heavily sedated with medications so that she would expend very minimal energy.
2.5-year-old Kelly Mayo was in a medically induced coma.
We put her in the CAT scan, and there was no evidence of a blood clot, nothing that required the surgeon to go to the operating room with Kelly, but her brain did look swollen. I try and reassure them that everything is being done, that she's very sick, and it is possible that she's not going to survive.
At that point, I lost it. I started shaking. In fact, the wife had to shout at me to bring me back to reality.
So we were there for about 2 or 3 hours before we went up to intensive care to see her. She looked so small and ill.
Okay, consistently 35?
About 35.
Her blood pressure and vital signs initially had been stable, but they now had started to fluctuate as well.
Dr. Griggs was trying to reduce the swelling and the pressure in her brain with drugs.
1 to 2 cc's per kilo. I haven't any problem with that.
The first 48 hours, were marked by these spikes of an intracranial pressure. The monitor reads out a digital number, with each spike, to me, indicated that the brain was in more trouble.
And Dr. Griggs, he said they couldn't control the pressure any longer. And he thought she was going to have serious brain damage. I always see Kelly floating in the pool. She just face down, and I see that all the time. And I just think, God, how long was she in there, and how long did she struggle for, and what was she thinking? If she did try and call out, then we couldn't hear her.
Kelly had been in the hospital for 4 days when Julie returned to her room to find everything had changed.
Gary was sat there holding her. He was sat in a rocking chair holding her. So I kind of knew then that she was going to be okay.
So then I put the baby in Julie's arms. It was great.
My moment came when Mom was able to hold Kelly. You've given a child back to a family. A lot of families are not this fortunate.
Kelly was released from the hospital after 10 days. She still has periodic checkups, but after 3 months, it's clear she has no brain damage.
It was stupidity on my part that it happened in the first place. I should have watched it better. And the bottom line is, even if you need them, you can't turn your back for 30 seconds. Because they can be in, you don't see anybody around, and your baby could be dead.
Drowning is one of the most common causes of accidental death in young children in this country. Kelly's whole family is grateful that she managed to survive.
From the policeman, the dispatcher, to the medics, and the fire department, and the helicopter people, and all the doctors and the nurses. You know, it's fantastic the way it works. Everything just goes so quick.
She fell in the pool and she couldn't breathe, and I was scared. Thank you for saving my sister.
Next.
I was almost 100% sure he'd robbed a bank, and I figured if I didn't do anything and just went about my business, I would feel guilty later seeing it on the news.
On April 11th, 1990, 23-year-old Greg Schulte of Miami, Florida, was traveling a route he took almost every day when he saw a man come running out of a bank.
When he threw something away, I wasn't sure what it was, but I knew what he did throw away was a thing that was smoking. He pulled out of the parking lot, screeching his wheels, and I noticed 3 people come out of the bank looking frantic. So I got in traffic behind him and began to follow him, and called 911.
His call came into Complaint Officer Dolores Lockhart at 2:49 p.m.
Yeah, I think a bank just got robbed on 8th Street and 122nd Avenue.
This is northwest or southwest?
Southwest. I just saw a guy come flying out of the bank, and there was just like all this red dye in the air, and then some people came running out of the bank as well.
I was almost 100% sure he'd robbed a bank, and I figured if I didn't do anything and just went about my business, I would feel guilty later seeing it on the news.
The car's right next to me. His license plate is B.
He wasn't driving fast, wasn't changing lanes rapidly, he was just going with the flow.
What color is this car?
It's white.
It's a white car?
Yeah, it's a Camaro.
Okay, what direction did he go in?
He's heading on the turnpike now.
Turnpike, you know what direction?
Northbound.
Northbound on the turnpike?
Yeah.
I checked on the screen next to me to see whether or not there was a robbery in progress, but if it was in fact a robbery, then he was going to continue following the subject, and there was nothing on the screen. It was unknown if it was in fact a robbery, but I gave all the information that Greg gave so the dispatcher could send a unit out immediately to check it out.
I knew I still had time to make my class, and I wasn't going to be late, so I figured I would ride it out for a while and see what happened. At one point, during the time I was following him, I thought maybe he knew I was following him, so I let him lapse behind me, so he was following me, so he wouldn't get suspicious. I thought he may have had a gun or been armed, and I wasn't, sure what he was going to do next. So of course my heart was racing. I was nervous.
Greg tracked the white Camaro for nearly 25 minutes. When it exited the turnpike, he followed.
I was kind of frustrated, having not heard back from 911. Maybe what I saw was not a bank robbery. Maybe it was just some kids playing around with smoke bombs or something. A significant amount of time had passed where I had pretty much given up at that point, not having heard back from her. I was sure that it must not have been a bank robbery.
Less than a minute after giving up the chase, Greg's car phone rang.
Hi, this is Metro Dade Police calling. Are you Shoti?
Yes.
Okay, are you still aside him or are you away from him now?
I figured if, I'd been following that line, I figured nothing must have happened. He made a right off of Alton onto 11th Street, and I followed him this far, and I figured, well, you didn't get back to me, so I figured I'm not going to waste my time anymore if he didn't do anything wrong. But he's probably around here somewhere. Damn.
Metro Dade PD to Miami Beach PD. Miami Beach, Chesapeake. Miami Beach, we've had a bank robbery at Southwest 8th Street and 122 Avenue, and I've just received information that the complainant is following subject. They were last seen at Alton Road and 1-2 Street in your city. The vehicle is a white Chevrolet Camaro, possibly an 82.
Inner city advising of a 29 bank robbery that occurred in their city.
I was really upset because, at this point I had lost the guy. I circled around the block hoping that maybe by luck I would run into him again and be able to give the police the exact location of where he was.
So they made a right from Alton Road on 11th Street, possibly eastbound.
Officer Armando Torres was just leaving the Miami Beach police station, heading back out on patrol.
I'm normally on a bicycle patrol. That particular day, it was going to rain. So I came into the station to pick up a vehicle. And while I was doing that, the description of a bank robber came through the radio.
that white Camaro? QSLA Hotel B Bravo, F Foxtrot 08 B Bravo.
HF 08 B Bravo. Subject is 1100 Meridian.
I'm coming out of the police station, and there he is. It's just like being at the right time, at the right place, and the guy being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Subject looks like it's going to go westbound on 11th.
That's 2401 11 Meridian, you're going westbound?
Just ahead of the Camaro was an unmarked police car, driven by Detective Calvin Lincoln.
I looked in my rearview mirror, and I observed a white 1982 Camaro occupied by one white male. I assumed that this could possibly be the armed robbery suspect from Miami. At the same time, a uniform unit pulled behind the white Camaro, so putting the white Camaro between the two of us. We don't want to do anything rash like jumping out of our vehicles and start pointing guns at them while you're in front of them. And we had a marked unit behind them, so what would happen is we'd get caught in a crossfire and we wind up shooting each other. So what we did was I pulled over to the side and we took them from the rear.
Go ahead, driver, pull over to the side. The vehicle has tinted windows, so I don't know if there's one individual in the car, there's two, and if they are armed.
Driver, pull over to the side now.
The dispatch advises that the guy was armed. It was an armed robbery.
Driver, get out of the car! Put your hands up! Come on, get out of the car! Come on, get out of the car! Put your hands up in the end, get out of the car! Come on, move it! Come on, put your hands up! Put your hands right there on top of the car! Move back! Move away from the door! Come on, stay right there! Don't look at him!
You have that white Camaro in custody? Yes, we have him on 11th and Meridian.
Right there now!
Who are you at this time? 1516.
Don't look at him! Put your hands in the car! Look at the car! Spray your legs! Come on, guys! Spray your legs!
They were still making the arrest when I was coming up, and I was thinking to myself, we finally won one for the good side.
What did I do?
We observed on his body red dye, which is put into a bank bag by the banks to explode after an armed robbery. He had it on his hands and on his clothing.
After the 30-minute chase, where he finally wound up was a block from the police station. He was no genius.
That's the guy. Come on, guy. Go. Put him in the car. What happened? He robbed the bank in South Africa. He followed all the way here. The other citizen with the car phone? Yeah, I'm the one. I called 911.
I think what the citizen did on his car phone was outstanding. We should have more people like that in the community who want to get involved, who have car phones. It'd make our job a lot easier.
Good job, Greg. Thank you. We appreciate it.
It is amazing to see a citizen that takes that much effort to help us.
Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it.
I had seen a guy rob a bank, and I simply couldn't turn my back on crime.
Follow us down the station, take care of the paperwork, give us a statement. Okay, thank you.
Like the saying goes, evil flourishes when good men do nothing.
The man in the white Camaro pleaded guilty to armed robbery and was sentenced to 33 months in a federal prison.
Step out of the car, please.